Good. Well, here we are, last day, we made it, and now we've got more work to do. But I think it's going to be fun work, even if it's a little chaotic and messy. So what we did last night at dinner was we tried to build out the three kind of groups or areas for our breakouts that we came up with yesterday. And in doing that, we volunteered or were assigned to help facilitate and record the breakouts that we'll get to here, and we'll start those momentarily. But just to review what we did, and then to tell a little bit about what we would like to happen this morning, I'm going to go through each one. So the first breakout room will be the communication theme. And that will be Elliot, Kelsey, me, and Heather. So in this room, we thought folks that are interested in preparing vision perspectives or vision papers or other devices, maybe infographics, all these sorts of things, ways we were talking about yesterday to communicate the ideas, what this is, what the emerging experiments and programs and all of these sorts of things can be. And inclusive with that as well is the presence. So we need to have the folks that are interested in building out, helping to build out our presence. And that's talking about the Twitter and other things yesterday along those lines. The perspective paper, I've already started jotting down some ideas and notes based on what we discussed yesterday. And I started on that theme just by kind of ideating on paper. Hans's point about carbon being a currency and trying to think about that, how that can be maybe utilized to write a perspective piece. And then synthesis papers. So within the Seesaw, everything we've learned the last couple of days, it's not just one thing, it's multiple things with, multiple connections. So folks that are interested in working on synthesis papers, sketching out ideas for those, also can join the communication room. The next one originally I had just had data, and I think that scared away most everyone. So we reframed this as questions, data mines and data gaps. Dana, Hans, John, we deputized Josh to be part of organizing some of this, and Carl. And so the idea with this room is we need to figure out what data, what questions, what observations, and what variables. So we need to begin working on that. And so folks that are interested in working on those topics can join in the data mines and data gaps room. Along with that, Kelsey shared this idea for a traceability matrix, science traceability matrix. And I think that is also a mechanism or a device that we can use to start formalizing some of these ideas. And then we started talking about getting the big data involved at some point, or people that are interested in working with that, and perhaps trying to have as an outcome or a product some kind of data challenge or hackathon, if you like, to use that phrase. What does that look like? I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I think it's within the data topic. And so that's something else that we can try to work on. And then the last one is actually, I need to scroll down a bit because it went on and it kept building, which is what we're about, right? And it's networks and partnerships. So I think Heather posed this idea of what are 5 funded community activities that we would like to see come out of this at some point. What would they be and who should be there? Thinking about building out along those lines, starting to build networks. We had a couple of really nice conversations at breakfast this morning about other types of programs and networks that we can connect with. Most likely what's going to come out of this is we need a working group to keep pushing things forward and to keep the momentum going. And so people interested in that, can be a working group or perhaps working groups. And that, I think, dovetails into the next one about thematic workshops. This is the scoping, but out of this hopefully comes a great deal of other opportunities to get together and to continue pushing this effort forward. Continue inviting program managers and others to join us and to chime in and hear what we're doing and maintain the enthusiasm. And I think too, as an example of that, I just want to link then to the final about stakeholder engagement. The NC COPE meeting that's coming up, Dana mentioned that. There's a network like Swizzler. There's HERS, which is the Hurricane
Ecosystem Response Synthesis.
Yes, thank you. Hurricane Ecosystem Response Synthesis. These types of communities are ones where stakeholder engagement is a key part of that. I think beginning to reach out to our sea grants and to other types of regional and local entities, and to tell them about this and to begin making connections, as well as building out our international networks a bit more. So that's an overview of what the rooms are going to be. I would like to take a moment and just see if anyone from the SOC from last night would like to add or correct anything I've just said. Okay, great. So the next thing is, it's thinking about these three rooms that we're going to be going into here in, say, 10 minutes or so. If you want, don't feel like you have to stay in just one. So the facilitators, the people listed there, what we're going to do is we're going to be having Jamboard, Google Doc, sticky notes, all of these ways to collect information and collect ideas. We're still at the scoping phase. So when you come into the room, just share and interact. But if you feel like, okay, I've spoken my piece about this one, I'm really interested in now going to networks and partnerships, feel free to move through the rooms. So you're not stuck like you were yesterday, the day before, at one table. So, once you want to move on, just please do so. So we're going to stay in these rooms to help keep the conversation going. One of the great things about using the physical devices, like the sticky notes and all of that, we really wanted to have the flip charts, but those no longer exist, unfortunately. Anyway, what we'll do is, add to ideas. So if you come into a room after spending 20 minutes in another room and you're like, oh, wow, that's pretty neat, but also we should be doing this, add to it. This is a way to begin building the network in the community, is by, interacting that way, even if we're not next to each other talking. Final thing to note is that if you're just interested in one of these rooms, feel free to stay the whole time. We've got not a huge amount of time, but we've got 2 hours to do this. Okay, 2 hours to do this. And so that's what our charge is going to be with our remaining time together. So that's the plan, and that's what we have set up for everybody. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts before we break into this? Yes, and I'm sorry I don't remember everyone's name, but.
So I had a question about kind of after we do breakouts, right? So I'm somebody who's interested in all of them. So just kind of curious if you guys have or have thought about engagement afterwards with those specific breakouts. Are we going to do a report out like we did last time and allow people to kind of have some feedback from our group, or just kind of curious?
Yes. So because we're ending at noon or adjourning at noon today, that means that once this morning session's done, we will come back. The team in here will stay in here, and then we'll all come back in here and have a kind of a final report out. So yeah, absolutely, we're going to do that. And then hopefully what will happen is we will the SOC is going to meet after we adjourn and come up with some next steps, some critical action items. And so you will be contacted by us to varying degrees asking for participation, help, and volunteering with building the network and pushing things forward. So we want to keep this going. Yes, Hannah. Yes. Yes, so this will be one of our breakout rooms. So you can leave your luggage in here. Yeah. And then 4280 is another breakout room. And then 3210.
Can we put data, 32, the data one downstairs in 3210? Because I'm on 2 breakouts, so it'd be good if they were as close together.
Yes. So 3210 networks here. And then what's the other one? Communicate. 40 communication and 4280. Yep. Okay. 210. And then what room is this? 4140. Yeah, but we can do this. We can have a hard copy too. Okay. Yes, Blake.
So is that shared amongst all of us? Like when we were doing the teams on Monday or whatever.
Yes. We can set that up.
Yes, if you send me that text, I'll get it into the breakout 3 documents.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Break out 3 documents. This will go into that.
And just so you all know, the breakout
materials, we stored them all in 4280 last night, so there are sticky notes and pens and stuff in 4280. If you feel like you're gonna need them, you should go there first and grab a stack and go to your room. The flip charts, unfortunately, either got removed or stolen or something.
thing last night. There should be whiteboards in each room, and there are whiteboards on wheels out there in the halls. So steal.
Yeah, absolutely. As an NC State employee, I am authorizing you to use whatever materials you can find.
Write things or drop things, take pictures. So we have a document for participant.
That, yeah, absolutely. Sid, then Hans.
So when we start this, we're free to just go to any one of those 3 to start off with, or have we been assigned?
You have not been assigned. This is, yeah, you just join whichever one you want to join. And if everybody goes to one room, then hopefully somebody wants to go somewhere else, and then you can just, you know, move in if it's too crowded, or, I mean, you can all stay in one room if you like, but I think all of us are interested in bits and pieces of these 3 categories. So I would encourage you to participate in all of them.
So we have permission to steal.
Just the reporting and breakout room materials. Yes. Hans.
This is just something for down the road, I think. If any of you have artistic talents in terms of diagrams, conceptual diagrams, things like that are going to come out of this, be good to know that, because I think it'll be an important part of our message and ultimately the final product. And by that, I mean, you know, for example, a diagram that shows mountains to the sea with everything that's going on, you know, on the route, so to speak. It's good to know if first of all, if anyone has that talent and whether they would like to, you know, dedicate it or donate it.
Okay, Blake.
I have access to the graphic arts contract that if there are specific things like 5 figures or so.
That is fantastic. Yeah, that is fantastic. Okay, great.
I have majorly beefed up the background papers on the participant resources,
And the medical results are in there too, so use
those
those
that
however you
on
want.
All right. The last thing I want to share, and we can talk more about this, is that in terms of follow-on activities, I won't be going to AGU, but for those who will, please try to get together if you can and continue the conversation. But for folks that attend SURF, we have proposed, along with someone from the HERS network, a special session, science session for the Coastal and Estuarine Research Foundation meeting coming up in Portland, Oregon in 23. Yes, yes. So please be looking for that and please, apply to submit an abstract so we can continue moving forward with this.
Can you tell me what the HERS network is?
Yeah, I can talk about it.
Yeah, John, please.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
So the HERS network is an RCN that started during COVID. And basically it's three themes. The first theme is looking at storm characteristics and antecedent conditions in tropical cyclones. So it's all about tropical cyclones in the land-water interface. The second team, which is just spinning up, is about biodiversity traits and evolutionary adaptations to hurricanes. And the final working group, which hasn't been formed, which will be formed probably in the summer or fall of next year, deals with social, economic, and human consequences of storms. So much more social science and economic impact effects. So it's open to all. It's through Virginia Institute of Marine Science. And if you just Google HERS RCN, you'll get a link to the website and you can sign up for, we have meetings almost once a month in terms of seminars. And then we have these focus groups around the themes and it's open to all.
Great. Okay.
Let's decline that.
No, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. Being,
Yeah, HERS RCN.
I'm skeptical.
If you go into your security things,
Mhm.
make sure you don't have any
Which
share
share
screen. This might
Could
be
be a
Can you also just take the? Are they?
Okay.
Yeah, they are.
This is-
Wind, it might be a participant. We can.
Remove. Okay, everybody else looks good, I think. All right.
I think that's just like.
Okay. That was my first Zoom bomb. I made it this long without having this happen. Yeah,
Actually, they're
okay.
rehearsing, so.
yeah. Glad they didn't get the screen. Okay, anything else before we go to our breakout rooms? Not go away.
Meet here at 11.
Meet back here at 11, yes.
One minor thing, but it seems to be helpful. Chris and Heather, you might, or Chris, we might want to remind people of the, like referencing this workshop in terms of the network that got developed when they moved forward in presentations and manuscripts and things like that. In the HERS network, we had a workshop before the RCN, and it got confusing to folks, even though we had like an authorship agreement and a code of conduct and stuff, that just acknowledging the parent grant of this workshop will help connect the work that comes from this workshop in a really meaningful way, not just accountability, but just to remember what was developed here and where it's going. Just track it.
I have a boilerplate text to that, so whenever you go to any OCB activity and get inspired and create something after that, I would love it if it's acknowledged in a publication of some sort. So just reach out and I'll give you a copy paste thing you can put in your paper.
Yes, absolutely. What's that?
in the acknowledgements.
Oh, for this?
Yeah. just like
Yeah.
throw it on there, so we all have it.
Yes, yes.
But this will be on the Google Drive, right?
Yes, yes.
Participant resources.
I'm gonna send that over. We'll get that set up momentarily. Do remember 3222, that's where coffee, and hopefully they don't take the snacks away. They're still there throughout the morning, so maybe get,
Take their luggage either.
I'm
Yeah.
starting to wonder.
but we have that room until we finish, as well as the 2 other breakout rooms in addition to this room. So 3210, 3222, 4280 in here. All right. So leads, please go ahead and go to your rooms. And then folks that want to follow at the moment, go ahead and join them.